In Jeremiah 13:4, God says, "Take this loincloth," which is like underwear, "that you have bought, which is around your waist, and arise, go to the Euphrates, and hide it there in a cleft of a rock." So God tells Jeremiah to go to the Euphrates River and go to one of the, like a side of a hill, and then bury his underwear there. And from Jerusalem to the Euphrates was about 350 miles. So that would be like walking from my hometown, Corpus Christi, where I live, all the way to almost Dallas. And so it's a long walk. And God didn't tell Jeremiah why. He didn't tell Jeremiah why he was having him do this until he did the second trip. And then he finally got the underwear out of the cleft of the rock, and they were all tattered and worn. And so he had to walk 350 miles there, 350 miles back, and then he had to walk 350 miles there. And when he was finally there, God told him, this is the word of the Lord I want you to give. And so he had to walk all the way back to give the word of the Lord. So in all, it was like he walked from Dallas, Texas to San Diego, California, which was like almost 1,500 miles. And I like to talk about this because many times God has us do something that doesn't make sense, and he gives us a cup to drink from that people don't understand. And I feel like today we've gotten so cause-oriented, where we are more about a cause. And there's nothing wrong with the cause, because God's heart is for the people. He has us do great causes. But we are more cause-oriented than we are Christ-oriented. And when God asks us to do something that seems insignificant, and it doesn't seem important, and we can't plan it out, and we don't understand why, then we might not do it. And then now we're walking in disobedience. Because here Jeremiah is walking, weeks, months, to a river carrying underwear that he's not allowed to wash. And I'm sure people would stop by and say, "Hey, Jeremiah, what's the word of the Lord? What are you doing?" And he has to say, "Well, I'm, walking to the river with these dirty underwear, and I'm going to go bury it." Like he had nothing of significance, nothing of magnitude to say. He was just walking to a river with underwear, and he was going to walk back. And it wasn't until his second trip that he finally found out why he had done it. But the truth about it is, and why Jeremiah is so special, is that he was obedient even though it looked like he was doing nothing. And so many times God calls us to do something because he's doing a work that we can't see. He's doing a work inside of us, and we have no idea what it is. And he is going to call us to do something, and people are going to stop and look at us and say, "What are you doing? What cause are you doing for Christ?" And we're just going to have to sit there with our dirty underwear and say, "I'm just being obedient. That's all I can do, is be obedient." And so my encouragement to you is, if God has called you to do something that makes you feel insignificant, that you have nothing to show, you have no cause to tell people, "Look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing for Christ." If you have nothing you can show for it, if you have nothing, no badge of honor that humans will look at you and say, "Wow, look at that person. She's doing awesome," or "He's doing awesome." If you have nothing to show for it, I would say continue walking that path, because God is going to do something amazing that you might not be able to see until you return to it months or years later. So it's not about having a cause. Causes are good, and Christ will use them, but it's about having Christ. And it's about being obedient to Christ. So I just want to encourage you with this last scripture where, Jesus is in the garden, and he's about to sacrifice himself for the whole world. And he says, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." So God is going to have you do some stuff, and you're going to say, "Remove this cup from me. I don't understand. This doesn't seem significant. There seems no cause to my pain. There seems no reason to why I'm suffering. There seems no purpose for any of it. You just have me walking, to a Euphrates River with my underwear in my hands. And I don't understand it, and I don't see the purpose in it. And you're going to tell that to God. And God is going to say, be obedient to me. There's a purpose for it, and I will demonstrate it to you. But just be obedient. And then I promise I'll bring you around one more time if you are faithful. And I will show you why that I put this cup in your lap, that I gave this to you. So it's not about having a cause. It's about being obedient to Christ.